to once again another Napoleon Total War battle. So today we have a 3v3. Now this replay was sent in to me by Gabriel, and he's going to be in command of the Prussians. So this map is the Italian grasslands, and he's going to be in command of Prussia on the far left flank. In the center we have France. He's going to be in command, I forgot who's in command of France. And then finally on the far right flank we have Prussia. So this is a battle of the clans. Gabriel was fortunate enough to join the group, so I forgot what the clan names were, but you will see at the end of the game. But this is going to be a very intense battle. So right away, everyone's going to be rushing these hills, and everyone's an extremely skilled player, so you guys are about to see what clan battles are just made of. So everyone is going to be rushing the hills. Now it is going to get a little confusing in the center just because it's French on French. But over on the far left flank, you can see it's going to be the Prussians against the British, and then on the far right flank, it is the Prussians against the British as well. So it's going to be a very interesting battle, but you see right from the get-go, a lot of guys are going to be rushing up their cavalry, and you see that right now. You see the French are actually going to be pushing up the hill with their own chasseur cheval, while the Allied player is also pushing up his own chasseur cheval. So extremely even, but he's going to take a different route. You can see he's going to get a shot off there, good kills, but he's also going to be flanking around on the side of the hill as well. So it looks like he's going to try and occupy these 4 French units, and then he's going to flank around. But it looks like the British player sees that, so he's going to try and assault with his own troops on the hill as well. And you see already a clash in the center of cavalry. Looking at Gabriel's point of view, another massive clash of cavalry, but I do feel that the Prussians are going to win just because cavalry for Prussia is much better than the British. But while the cavalry engagement is continuing, it looks like the Prussians and the British are going to be pushing up their line of infantry. And you see that right now. But it is going to be quite the clash. You see they are engaging right now. Morale for Britain is not looking good. They do have the same amount of units, but it's just going to come down to who has better skill. In the center, though, it's very chaotic right now. Still, no one has routed, but it is not looking good on both sides. They're taking a lot of losses in terms of cavalry. Meanwhile, Britain's going to be pushing up on the far left flank. You see that right now. Prussia's going to try and get his line of infantry up as well, but he's not spread out, so that's going to cost him a lot, because you can see Britain right now is already spread out, and he's going to be ready. Let's just check out this volley. Good shots, good shots, and it's going straight into those foot guards, which are a pretty elite unit. Over here in the center, hell has broken loose. See on both sides, the engagement has begun. Point-blank volleys, actually. Look at this, the 6th Regiment, point-blank against the Swiss foot. These guys are in square formation. Looks like the friendly Prussian cavalry has made it into the French lines, charging into the 6th Regiment, so good job there. Over here, though, Britain is continuing to push up with his lights and line infantry. But you can see one thing that the enemy French player is not doing well is he is very, very clustered right now. You see his ranks are extremely thick as to where his ally, yes, he's in square formation, but he is much more spread out than his enemy. Taking a look on this hill, looks like we got some allied troops that are going to be rushing it, but there are some enemy troops that are going to be countering them as well. Minimap's going to be extremely important in this game, just because you really don't know who is who. We got the Guard Seamen over here up against some Swiss foot. We got a cavalry charge coming in from the Dragoons. It looks like they're going to be charging straight into the Swiss foot. Swiss foot are definitely prepared there. They do form square. They're going to get some very nice shots off. Over here on this flank, good cavalry charge in here by the Prussians. They're actually going to be charging down a lot of those light infantry. And you see now the Prussian lights are now going to be engaging. They're going to be taking out a lot of British lights, but they're not spread out, so that's going to cost them a lot. You can see some militia are now going to be pushing up, and they're going to be charging into these Lightfoot over here. Lightfoot getting some nice volleys in, but they're not going to be able to stop this massive horde of Prussian troops. Over here, though, looks like the British player is going to be continuing to push. He does have a lot of reserves at the base of this hill, consisting of some pretty elite troops. Taking a look back at the center, you can see the Allied player really doing a good job with his lines, and now he's going to be continuing to push up with his lights, unlike the enemy British player where he is still extremely clustered. Over here, though, Gabriel doing a fantastic job outflanking the enemy and using his lights to his advantage. He still has control of the hill, but you see Britain has much more of it. Looking over here, you see a cavalry charge is coming into these lights here. Gabriel doing a good job pulling back his lights. A little slow there, but he did manage to get them out of there. And he does form square in time, so he's going to be able to counter this massive British cavalry push. Now, since they're charging straight into square, they are not going to last much longer. Down to one unit left. But over here, the French are doing a really good job here. And he's continuing to push up his militia now. So he's going to be charging his militia into the enemy French lights, which is going to be good. But over here, you can see the center French players really not doing a good job. You can see he's pretty much lost the hill at this point. He does still have some friendly troops on this right flank here. But all these troops right here are all enemy troops. So they're going to have a hard time fighting for that hill again. But over here, it looks like Britain is getting destroyed pretty badly right now. And the Prussian player is just taking advantage of it, using his elite troops to his advantage. And he's actually going to force the British player back. Great move here. You just see the amount of bodies that the British player has sustained and lost. But over here, not looking too great for this enemy French player. Yes, he does have the flank on the allied player, but he's just not doing good in terms of, spreading his units out. Because right now, just for an example, he has barely any troops firing in his front lines, which is never what you want to do. Over here, the clash has still continued. Extremely even battle on this far left flank. You can see it's just a light engagement right now. A lot of straight volleys killing a lot of guys. But Gabriel's doing a nice job of pushing up and making sure he's getting the volleys he needs. And he does have the reserves, which he is going to be pushing up very, very shortly. So, with that being said, it's going to cause a lot of stress on the Prussian player, just because since he lost the hill, he's not only going to be fighting uphill, but he's going to be fighting extremely elite troops. You see the French player at the base of the hill, and they are going to get destroyed by these elite troops. They do get a first volley in, but they're going to be countering, getting a very nice volley off as well. Now, with Prussia's flank being exposed, it looks like he's going to be pulling back and reforming his position. And that flank really did help out the rest of these British forces. I think a lot of these troops are hidden, but it did help with preventing these Prussians from continuing their attack, because if he did, he would have totally annihilated that British army. Over here, Prussia doing a really good job with his lights. You see, Prussian lights are very elite, so he will end up winning this engagement, in my opinion. I still have yet to see the outcome of this battle, but just from seeing what's happening, you see he's outflanking his enemy. He's doing a really good job. He's causing a lot of damage. Over here, we got some foot guards engaging some old guard. Or excuse me, King's German Legion. But the tide is somewhat turning. You see Britain's now going to be helping the attack. And it is very, look how close these guys are right next to one another. It's unbelievable. For some reason, looks like the British player did form square on this hill. Not too sure why. No cavalry in sight. But it looks like he's going to try and control the hill. And you can see he's going to try and help aid the French player's flank. But like I said, Prussia has a massive force, and so does the French. And it looks like the Old Guard are going to be pushing up the hill. We have some Prussian troops. Actually, these are enemy troops here. So it looks like the enemy troops are going to be pushing up the hill, and they're going to be setting up a defensive position along the side. But Gabriel's doing a really good job right now, and he's winning this engagement right now against the British. The British player does have a lot of reserves now, consisting of a lot of elite troops. Some foot, 42nd, the 88th, and some Coldstream Guards, extremely elite troops. And he's going to be pushing them along the flank. So only thing Gabriel has to counter them are 3 musketeers. So nothing significant here. So he's going to have to rely on some other source to help him win this engagement. And I think if he can win this hill, he can train his units to face this hill and kind of overlook the enemy's positions and take them out. But we will see what happens there, because he's clearly winning this hill right now. And same with the French player. The French player, he's taking a lot of losses in this forest right now, but he still has a lot of elite troops. You see point blank volleys. These guys are no more than 5 feet away from them, maybe 10 feet, and they're point blank volleys. And somehow this guy just missed his oh, payback. He missed his shot, the other guy didn't. It's gonna cost him quite a bit. Anyways, with that said, the British are now going to be countered by some Prussians here. And the Prussians are pushing up their elites first. You can see it's consisting of some foot guards. So very elite engagement right now. And there goes his light infantry. Looks like he's going to be turning these guys on fire at will, maybe. Yes, he is. Now he's going to get a nice volley off with his lights. And it looks like he's just going to be, it's a different form of, you know, shoot and push. Looks like he's going to be inspiring his troops. He's going to get chased down by some musketeers. And you see his troops are getting somewhat depleted now. But over here on the left flank, you know, stuff is getting very intense right now. And like I said, he's going to need that outside force to help aid his cause on this right flank. And he's pushing up his Prussian Fusiliers, something that I predicted. And you can see with these extra few units here, it's really going to help the outcome of this engagement. You know, benefit these Prussians. Now, with that being said, he does have a much weaker force defending the hill, but seeing that there's only one British unit that's defending it, it's not going to cost him too much. And he's going to be able to hold it. Now, right now, looking at the map, you see a lot more red troops are routing compared to blue. But you can see he's starting to encircle his enemy right now. The only units that are, you know, enemy are around this region. You see the British troops are now going to be pushing up, trying to help aid the center. Seeing that he lost the far left flank, he's going to try and push elsewhere. But right now, the enemy is really getting confined to this area in the woods. And right now, Prussia is getting some really nice shots in. And with that being said, morale's not going to go well. But look at this melee action. Here comes the old guard charging into these Polish Legion. Polish Legion do not have a chance whatsoever. And there they go. So they have broken. One old guard unit left in this forest. Pretty much the only unit that has decent numbers, because the rest of his troops are just getting annihilated right now. He does have some foot guards here still, and they're going to be engaging very shortly. You see they're taking some losses as well from these foot guards and Prussian Fusiliers. Over here, though, Britain's continuing to try and take this hill. Looks like the French general actually did charge in. He's going to be clashing with some foot guards, but it might cost him his general's life. Let's see where he's at. This is him right here. And yes, it does. His general is dead, so that is not going to help the morale of the French player. And you see mass rout starting to happen now. And the Allied troops are forcing these enemy troops out of the woods. But just taking a look at these losses, just insane amount of losses right here. Unbelievable amount. As well as on the hill. This is what a battle was at the time. Probably not as close, you know, as close as an engagement, excuse me. They're probably a good, you know, this distance away from one another, but they're getting extremely close to each other, which was very interesting. Don't see that too often. But, you know, your micro has to be on point if you want to play games like these, because skilled players will just destroy people with microing. So you can see the forest is pretty much the Allies' control now. And they forced the British pretty much out of the forest now. So it's only consisting of 3 units up against pretty much an entire army. So it's pretty clear who the victor is going to be at this point. But it's such a good game to show how important micro is and how important taking the hill is at certain points. So it looks like these musketeers are going to be charging into these fencibles. Fencibles not going to have much of a chance whatsoever. Their morale is very bad, and they do end up breaking. On the right flank, though, these guys are holding out pretty well here. The 88th Foot and, I believe, yep, the Coldstream. And they're going to continue the engagement, but they have not yet realized that they're losing pretty much elsewhere on the battlefield. You can see Prussia has just stormed the hill now. They have won the hill, and now they're going to start outflanking these Highland Foot guards and their general. So there they go. Units are breaking left and right, and now the only strongholds or place left that the enemy is defending is on this right flank. They're going to be continuing to engage, but they won with some pretty good numbers left. And you can just see the trail of routing units getting shot down as they run away, dropping like flies. But you can just see this was such a bloody engagement, starting on this flank, pretty much starting on the hills. But you know, just seeing how this battle has progressed, Taking a look at the hill now, a lot of cavalry where the engagement was, and then in the forest where hell just absolutely broke loose. I mean, look at the bodies, unbelievable amount. And then leading up onto the second hill, another big clash in cavalry, and then finally, where we're at now, another engagement in these woods. So final stand for the British. Don't have much of a chance, if any, at this point. But they are elite troops, so that means their morale is going to stay pretty high. You can see Gabriel's units are now starting to run out of ammunition. But that's the least of his concerns. He has so many more troops that can just, be pushed in to engage. You see the general staff here with his men to the last stand. But they're holding out pretty well right now against these Prussians. But here comes another melee clash. They're going to be charging it in. Let's check this out. And they do break on impact, and there goes the 88th foot. Then the Coldstream, and then the general with poor morale is going to try to charge in. Last unit for the enemy on the battlefield. Nicely running over his own guys. Very interesting there. But he himself also does break, so very good game to everyone who participated in this battle. Very, very good match. So shot down. Looking at the stats. So there we go. That is the game. Gabriel doing a really good job getting the second most kills. So yeah, Prussian player doing a really good job. Pretty much everyone on the winning side went positive. And then on the enemy team, not looking too great. The French player actually did a lot better than I expected him to, have done, just because he was so clustered up. But he did get some pretty good kills, almost 1,000. But you see the clans, Imperials versus the TNC. So very good game. Looking at the statistics for Gabriel, you see Fusiliers on top with 167. So good kills there. So anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Going to try and post more videos. It's been some time since I posted some, so going to try and get back onto schedule. Maybe video every 3 to 2 days. So anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys later.